Welcome back, troglodytes, to Would You Rock or Not. Today we're taking a look at a Les Paul Studio Premium Plus. These are basically Les Paul Studios that have really nice tops on them, and you traditionally find them in natural finishes. Now, the Les Paul Studio was first introduced in 1983, and it kind of looked like this. However, it had three tiers. There was the General Studio, there was the Studio Standard, which had binding around the body and on the fretboard, and finally the Studio Custom. This one had the 7-ply binding and binding on the fretboard, as well as gold hardware depending on your finish. Now, those guitars existed roughly 5 or 6 years until they just disappeared and was just left with the base Studio model. However, that almost puts us into the 90s, and that's basically the golden age of Les Paul Studios. Now, I've done a few separate reviews of 90s Studios, but basically why they're so well loved is they have their trapezoid inlays with an ebony fretboard, a nice gloss finish, and they really are just absolutely fantastic guitars for the money. If you're in the market for a Les Paul Studio, definitely seek one of these early 90s Les Paul Studios with the ebony fretboards out. You will be glad you did. They are fantastic guitars. However, once the ebony boards stopped, they weren't quite as special, but the Studio is still a very great guitar. Now, somewhere in the late 90s, early 2000s, Gibson introduced another premium level of a Studio, and they called this the Studio Premium Plus. Basically, the only difference between this and the other Studios is it had a really nice maple top on it, similar to like a standard Plus. Now, personally, I'm used to seeing these getting listed for, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 with really nice natural finishes. Here's a nice example. Here's another great one. And I guess there are some darker finishes as well. Here's a nice example of that, as well as more of a Fireburst-like finish. However, I'm featuring this particular Studio Premium Plus because I just think it has almost that Boneyard vibe to it. The Boneyard Les Paul is a signature of Joe Perry from Aerosmith. It looks like this. Now, this one's not exactly the same, but it kind of has a similar vibe. Now, this guitar is offered for sale by Sam Ash in Nashville, and they pretty well know what they have. If you are interested in this guitar, just know they're not going to haggle more than free shipping for you. I thought this one was nice enough, I did want to buy it. But since it fell through, that's why it's on this series. So the headstocks on these things are nothing special. It's just your standard Gibson Studio, except for you do have the gold hardware. And by the serial number, you can see this one was made in 2001 on the 115th day of the year. What you're seeing right here is just a mineral streak of some nature. It's not actually a break. Sometimes you can pick up some really nice guitars because a lot of people are too scared to buy them because the wood just has some weird streaking in it. It has your standard 490R, 498T pickups from this era, but the speed knobs have been switched out for golden speed knobs. I think that does really match in with the whole vibe of this guitar, since the finish is kind of a goldish color anyways, and you have gold on top of that. But the top on this one was just matched with a really interesting ambered finish. Basically, the whole guitar has a mahogany color similar to the back of the guitar. It just has a fantastic flame top for a Studio. But what I really like about this model is it looks like it has binding. However, it doesn't. What you're seeing on the sides there is just the maple top that is put on top of this guitar. But since it has this nice aged honey color over it, it almost looks just like creamed out binding. So it makes the guitar appear more high-end than it really is. And here's another one that's just a fantastic shot of this guitar. This is the one that made me make an offer on it. That fretboard just has that same golden hue. This is just such a beautiful guitar. It just has such a honey goldenness to it. I think it would look fantastic in person. And it even still has its original case. The only question left, would you rock this Les Paul Studio Premium Plus top or not? Leave your answer down in the comments section below, and regardless of how you feel about this instrument, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.